We think at both a biological level and a clinical level, poor nutrition choices and inactive lifestyles do accelerate aging. So now we've shown this in very fine detail at a cellular level, and we can see it clinically. And people need to remember that even though you don't have the diagnosis of diabetes or the diagnosis of cardiovascular disease or the diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease today when you're in midlife, the biology underlying those processes is hard at work. So we did a relatively straightforward but at the same time clever thing in which we introduced the mice to either a normal diet, so a healthy diet that you and I would consume, or we gave them really the equivalent of a fast food diet. So a diet that's high in fat, high in cholesterol, high in saturated fat, and gave them that sugar-sweetened beverage that you would get with your fast food meal. And over the course of time, what we observed was that, as you would expect, is that toxic diet given to the mice caused all kinds of aging-related conditions in middle age. And we know this is something that happens in humans as well, where obesity drives the accelerated onset of aging-related conditions. And we perfectly replicated that in mice. So we saw deficits in physical function, deficits in heart function, and deficits in metabolic function, so the equivalent of diabetes in the mice provided the high-fat diet. At the same time, we gave half the mice on both the healthy diet and the negative diet exercise wheels. So it would be like us giving patients in the clinic a treadmill to take home with them and encourage them to use it. So some of the mice ran very little and some ran a ton, equivalent to 10 kilometers per night. And what we found was that those mice that consumed that toxic diet and were exposed to those same stresses that accelerated the aging process of senescence and accelerated the onset of aging-related conditions were protected. So these mice didn't develop senescent cells in different organs and tissues, and in particular adipose tissue, which we think is a key source of inflammation in age-related conditions. So the exercise, completely prevented the negative effects of the diet. We also provided the mice the high-fat diet for several months, and we showed that they had deficits in metabolism, that they were obese, that they had other health impairments. And then we brought exercise back into the picture. And even in that situation, we saw very positive effects of exercise, again, on the biology of aging by reducing the senescent cell burden in these mice and improving parameters of health, such as insulin sensitivity and cardiac function and physical function. So it's never too late to start. Some of us believe that aging is just something that happens to all of us and it's just a predestined fate, and by the time I turn 65 or 70 or 80, I'll have Alzheimer's disease and cardiovascular disease and osteoporosis. And this clearly shows the importance of modifiable factors, so healthy diet, and even more so, just the importance of regular physical activity. So that doesn't mean that we need to be marathon runners, but we need to find ways to increase our habitual physical activity levels to stay healthy and prevent processes that drive aging and aging-related diseases.